It would be pointless to hear such an answer, don't you think? I opened these dream doors and stepped into the room where Maya was. Maya was giggling like she always did, but in this dark room is a little scary. I snapped my fingers and turned the lights on. The room became bright all at once. Sure, you could say that. Maya didn't look the least bit surprised I was suddenly here. Like hell, it's a nice night. Still giggling, she tilted her head. You appearing all of a sudden, me being saved by Alice, and us ending up spying on Saki's dream. If I had the nerve to enjoy all that, I'd be able to live a much easier life. They never are. No, I'm trying to get onto Saki's route, and apparently I haven't seen this dialogue, so I have to go and talk to you again. Seeing you wasn't my goal for coming here. With my hands in my pockets, I looked around the room. It was the usual ornate, luxurious, clean, unsettling room. I like how we have to describe it in such detail. Even so, perhaps precisely because of that, Maya's current outfit matched the room very well. It always has. I came to quickly end this dream. Maya narrowed her eyes and sneered. It wasn't her usual pasted-on smile, but instead the smile of a fox or cat who found her prey. Because I'm trying to get onto Saki's route, I already told you. But I want to end it all, I can't continue having this dream after all. Everywhere Maya appeared at random and somehow managed to get Saki involved. I had neither the patience nor the stamina to deal with this. If things went on like this, I would definitely collapse before long. I plan on using the skip to selection button. That's how I plan on doing it. If what I thought about this dream was true, then this should change it a lot. With a deep breath, I prepared to say what I had decided before I came here. I'm gonna give up on you, Maya. Yes, I can do that. It's not a matter of can, I'm going to do it. I wasn't going to do it because it was my responsibility, I was going to do it because I could. I was going to do it because I believed I had to. But Maya continued to giggle. You're gonna tell me something good. Why do I have a feeling it's not good? I'm listening. I didn't think it was gonna be anything good, but I couldn't ignore it. I'm glad you feel the same. I got the feeling that I had to listen, although Maya often said cruel things, they often contained hints. Maya seemed to enjoy seeing my conflicting feelings. It's not the first time, you think? Oh, of course it isn't. I had tried to forget about Maya many times over the years. Vaguely aware of what? What did you have in mind? Aware of what? I suddenly got the feeling that I was forgetting something, but I had a premonition that something terrible might happen if I remembered. Should I ask or not? Completely ignoring my turmoil, Maya went on. Wow. Really? No way. What did you say? I'm really expecting this to go in kind of a meta kind of direction where it's like, oh yeah, actually, someone's been controlling your decisions, and it's gonna be like me. I feel like it's gonna do something kind of similar to some other visual novels. I don't want to spoil them. The shape of Maya's giggling mouth changed little by little. I think an example I can use would probably be Doki Doki Literature Club, okay? I don't think anybody's gonna be upset if I spoiled that one, okay? Nobody really considers that, like, the pinnacle of visual novels, so I think I'll be okay. But I do know of some other ones that kind of have a twist like that. The shape of Maya's giggling mouth changed little by little. My spine grew colder and colder. I don't like her laugh. Yeah, is that so? Wait, that's...
せていないのかしら。本当にかわいそうなお兄ちゃん。
So I think I kind of hinted at this kind of early on in this series. I was wondering, so we kind of have the different routes, right? We have like the different dreams. I was wondering if that's really all connected. Like it's kind of like a, could I call that a multiverse? Like where there's multiple versions of us doing things and Maya's aware of it all. Like she's kind of omnipotent in that regard, where she can kind of observe all these different timelines of us going down different paths. Am I kind of right to think that that's what's going on? Just because I have speculated about that before. I don't remember which episode or anything, but I did have that theory in mind. And it almost seems like she's kind of saying that, like, hey, you've been here before multiple times, kind of implying that through each route that we've done, we've kind of been in the same situation over and over.
だけどね、そんなに気にしなくてもいいのよ。
Oh, perfect. I don't gotta worry about it, though. Like, why am I worrying? Maya's hand gently touched my cheek.
ここで思い出したって余計に絶望しちゃうだけなんだから。
But then again, I mean, she has said that we kind of, like, get in similar situations, and then we kind of end up forgetting it. Like, she kind of, like... I think she's erasing our memory. Am I remembering that right? Like, she is kind of erasing it. Maybe she's erasing my memory, and I just don't remember. Who knows?
必要な時が来るまで忘れさせてあげるわ。だってそうしないと。
Yeah, because I mean, she's definitely trying to prevent us from getting to, like, a certain point, I feel like.
前に誰を選んだのか、それを引きずりすぎちゃうものね。
Oh, so is she saying that? Like, the route we did before? Okay. What do you mean I didn't have to ask? I could see a face in my mind's eye. It was someone who had been very important to me, before I could realize who that was.
もう少し私のお話に付き合ってちょうだい。ね、お兄ちゃん。
A sweet smell came from Maya. I love stories that do this, though. I love it so much. Where it's like the character has gone through it before, and all of that is a part of the story. Like, it's not just like, oh, you know, it's for us, right? We're going down different routes. Like, it's incorporated. Like, it's canon that we're going down different routes. Like, we do technically remember that from each time. It's all one story. It's not individual stories. It all adds up to one interesting universe. Smell of roasted honey mixed with the scent of a dense forest of flowers. Wait, Maya. At this rate, Maya was going to make me forget everything. I had to do something just then. Oh, it's the blue sky! It's the blue sky, guys! Oh? That's why we keep seeing a blue sky? Is that going to take us down Alice's route? Is that what we do? I think I need to recall her face, though, because I'm thinking of Saki. Ah, blue sky. I'm so excited to get to that point, though. I was right. That's one of those things that keeps reoccurring, but because we didn't make this choice, the blue sky means nothing. We just kind of like, oh, you know. That's what she's talking about, you know, like, it's not your time yet to remember certain things. So good. I love this kind of writing. Like, this is amazing. But I need to do I recalled her face, because I believe that's what's going to take us down Saki's route. My vision slowly went dark. I tried to recall the face of the one most important to me, but I couldn't make her out. Maya, I was unable to remember who it was.
きっとお兄ちゃんはまだそこには行けないのね。それはとても悲しいけれど。
Maya's voice was gentle.
けれど幸せな夢ならその方がいいに決まってるわ。大丈夫。私なら何度だって付き合ってあげる。お兄ちゃんが何回繰り返したいと思っても、私はずっと一緒にその夢を見てあげるわ。だから。
I could hardly hear her voice now.
お
No.
やすみなさい、お兄ちゃん。今日もいい夢をね。
I mean, Saki's route, I'm sure, is going to be really cool, but I'm looking forward to when we, like, get into Maya's and Alice's, because I think that's where the real shit's going to start happening. It's going to be so good. Unable to resist, I slowly closed my eyes. Okay, really excited for that. That's gonna be good, but we'll get to that in a bit. As soon as I fell asleep, I was here again. Before I could realize what was happening, I was in a dream room. I can skip to selection. Okay, so you could say I do. I'm of course using a guide to make sure I get to that. Maya put on a relieved expression, at least that's what it looked like to me. I can skip again. I believe you know her, right? Yes. I mean, she should know her.
つまり咲ちゃんよね。
I don't know what you're imagining, but of course I'd be interested in her. I was causing trouble for her. I felt guilty about it jokingly and seriously, but there was no way I wouldn't be thinking
だ
about
けど
it.
きっと恋とか愛とかじゃないなんてひどいことを言うのよね。
Yeah, dismissing like that would certainly be the easy way
なら
out.
一応それがおかしいって自覚はあったのね。
Why do you look so
で
surprised?
かいよ。てっきり咲ちゃんとはそんな関係じゃないとか変な照れ隠しすると思ったのに。私がいない間ちゃんとそういうことを意識したり考えたりするようになっていたのね。嬉しいわ。
Why did I have to be told things like this by Maya? She wasn't even beside me anymore. I broke into a cold sweat. If this was something born from my own subconsciousness, you have no right to tease me about that. Maya had been running her hand along my face and neck. I violently grabbed that hand as if to say it was annoying. I thought myself pathetic for even considering allowing her to continue like that. Because you know that the reason Saki and I are like this is because...
そうね。きっとそれは私がいなくなったからだわ。
For a moment, Maya's voice turned serious. I almost pity Maya. Like it's kind of sad. I mean, obviously, like what happened to her was sad, but the fact that like she kind of missed out on so much like character development for her brother, I think that's kind of what's sad. He grew closer to Saki only because his sister wasn't there. I think like the dynamic would have been a little bit differently if all three had grown up to this point, but it's like he just kind of had Saki and now he's kind of made some other friends, and Maya's like trying to include herself in that, I guess, and trying to kind of help him like make commitments with some of these girls, but at the same time kind of tormenting him. But you know, she's also kind of helping him at the same time. And then I've talked about this before, I don't think that Maya is a villain. I really don't. I think Maya portrays herself as a villain. You know, you guys kind of talked to me about the word I was looking for when I was playing Clockwork Leyline was antagonist. She's an antagonist. She kind of goes against the hero, but I don't think she's necessarily the villain. But she quickly returned to the same grin she'd been wearing before. Her hand slipped out of mine as though I hadn't grabbed it at all.
だけど大丈夫よ。これからはきちんと私が見ていてあげるから。
You see, she always says this. She says like, I'm your ally. I'll be sure to watch over you. She's always helping us, even though she puts us in situations where we would need help, I guess. But those words make me happy or scared. It's almost like, and I don't know if it's right to say this, but Maya's kind of acting like a god. Maya's kind of acting like a god that kind of helps us grow as human beings, just because, you know, she's putting us through trials and that kind of makes you stronger, right? But she's kind of controlling it so that we don't really, I don't know, like she knows us well enough that she knows we're not gonna like fail at certain things, even though she like kind of makes it feel like we might. It's a very controlled growth, to me at least. Did those words make me happy or scared? From where?
どこからでも私がどこにいるのかなんて分かってるくせにわざわざ言ってほしいの？言わせたいのかしら？それともまだもしかしたらなんて甘い希望を抱いているの？
She walked around me and hugged me from
ず
behind.
っとずっといつでも一緒よ。大丈夫。どんな望みでもきっと叶うわ。ほら、こうして私とまた会えたみたいに。
We'll always be together, huh? Give me a break. My voice was embarrassingly weak.
いいわよ。そうやって強がるのも素敵だわ。だけど、これだけは覚えておいて。
I heard her step onto the floor behind
私
me.
たちなら夢の中で何でもできる。どんな夢でも叶えられるのよ。
The laugh. Maya's laughter got on my nerves. To me, it was the sound of temptation. Interesting, that's what you think it is? Sound of temptation, huh? Then I woke up, my alarm clock had yet to ring. Are we like kind of... Okay, so we're still in a point where it's not... I can't skip to anything. We are kind of going down the Saki path right now, so I'm sure there's things we haven't seen before. Then I woke up, my alarm clock had yet to ring. So I slowly opened my eyes, I saw my normal apartment. Almost as if on cue came my usual headache. Plus I felt like Maya's laughter was still ringing in my ears. At this rate, it's only a matter of time before I collapse. Waking up from this kind of dream on the morning of my day off left me feeling far from refreshed. I had wanted to sleep a little longer, but instead I woke up close to the time I would have during a school day. Wondered if Maya was planning to become my alarm clock from now on. Guess I'll get up. Okay, so we're still going through new stuff. With a groggy, grumpy feeling I couldn't quite put into words, I got out of bed. I no longer had the energy to go back to sleep. I just don't want to get to a point where I'm just kind of like redoing past events, because like I want to see like future events, you know? Yeah. Ooh, is it Saki? But why would Saki ring the doorbell? Ate a simple breakfast of toast and some canned stuff. After that, despite it being my day off, I had some work to do for the science club, namely draw up a diagram of the new parts of the robot we were going to make. Then the doorbell rang. It wasn't even noon yet. Who could it be? Tetsuya would undoubtedly be on a date with Asahi, who would come all the way up to my apartment on the top floor. I'd imagine that no salesperson would want to approach a building owned by a Hasano family. As I was pondering over this, the door suddenly unlocked and opened.
おはよう兄さん。もうきちんと起きてたみたいね。
What the
よかっ
heck?
たわ。
When did you start using doorbells? Morning, Saki. Wait, don't just unlock the door even though you don't know whether I'm awake or not. Just as I thought, it was Saki.
あら、今日は仕方がないのよ。いつも以上にちゃんとした理由があるんだから。
Even more legitimate reason than usual. Okay, what is it? You always just take out the key and come inside without permission. But I couldn't bring myself to drive her away when she came in on a day off. Whatever, come on in.
それじゃあ遠慮なく。ね。
Wait. Fast girl? Saki turned her aside. I barely had time to wonder what was going on. How come they don't have a branch off option in her route where you instead go with her?
ええ、内藤くんがそう言うなら遠慮なく上がれますね。
You know, I thought it was just Saki. I didn't know you were coming in. It was Takahara-san.
なんですか。人を見てそんな顔して失礼ですよ。
Is it rude? You kind of invited yourself. I think that's kind of rude. The one sitting there was the woman who was the manager of the Hasano Security Services and Saki's chaperone. Mia Takahara-san. Is it Mia or Maya? I think it's Mia, because we already have a Maya. We had a really cute given name, so if you called her by her surname, she'd get a little mad. We should call her by her surname. Let's do it. Oh no, I was just surprised because I thought Saki was alone. Desperately hiding my dismay, I invited them into my apartment.
お嬢様一人の方が内藤くんにも都合が良かったんじゃなくて？
Yes. Yes, it would. Don't listen to him. He's lying. Please, no. No, don't come inside. Now here's my thing, okay? I don't have anything against Takahara-san, but she's kind of scary, okay? I think she's very attractive, but kind of scary. Just because I know she will beat our ass if we ever mistreat Saki in any way. Even if it's a misunderstanding, okay? When Takahara-san comes so suddenly, just then I noticed why Saki had said, "I'm glad you're awake." What would have happened if I'd still been asleep? I don't even want to think about it. The two of them entered my apartment, and I immediately started boiling water. I couldn't stand either silence or conversation. I wanted to look like I was doing something. Sorry, it's just what Saki brought, but will this tea be okay?
お構いなく。今日は遊びに来たわけじゃありませんから。
So, she said today Takahara-san had never come to here to hang out, so I was hoping it was just the usual.
それで兄さんは何してたの？
Work for club. We're determined to make one more thing before the the third years graduate. Takahara-san said not to mind them, but that didn't mean I could stop boiling water. Saki sat next to the spot where I usually sat on the sofa. Takahara-san remained standing and looked around the room. What brings you here? I had a pretty good idea, but I want to make sure. I'd already had a bad feeling about this, but what if this was just the usual deal? Considering that Saki had slept over, there was a chance that this was going to be worse.
ええ、 社長の代わりに内藤君の生活態度をチェックしに来ました。
You're checking on how I'm living. I mean, I'm alive. That's good. A brief sigh of relief is the usual, thank God. Saki's dad, who was the landlord of this place, was kind of acting as my guardian in place of my busy parents. Takara-san glanced at the desk I'd been working at. On the monitor was an image I was drawing, and various diagrams were scattered on the
とりあ
desk.
えず部活動なら勉強の一環でしょうし、そうビクビクしなくても構いません。
Is that so? The water was boiling, so I was about to get some packs of green tea. Takara-san suddenly reached out towards my desk.
それでこれは何ですか？
Nothing. Pills. She picked up some pills in a Ziploc bag. In other words, they were sleeping pills I got from Galprez. Saki woke up. Or, Saki woke up. Saki, who up until now had been the one of most of us the one of us most at ease. Sorry, it's late at night right now, and I can't English when I'm not tired. Okay, turned her sharp gaze towards me. Hey, they're sleeping pills. I hadn't explained in details about lucid dreams and so forth, but Takara-san knew that I had visited doctors regarding sleep disorders since I was a kid. So it wasn't odd for me to have sleeping pills. She understood that, but
最近病院に行ったという話は来ていませんけど。
that was the only case when I got them through the proper channels. They were leftovers from a long time ago.
残り。へえ、そうなんだ。へえ。それで兄さん、なんで声が硬いのかしら？
Y'all don't need to know about the drug dealers, okay? Saki was one thing, but I couldn't let Takara-san know the club press had been supplying me. Yeah, she's giving me the Xannies. I didn't want to trouble her, but I was only able to receive them because we kept it a secret between us. Saki got mad at me before she found out. At that time, I had promised I wouldn't get them anymore. I mean, didn't she get them from, like, another country that didn't have such, like, strict, rules about it? I mean, I know that's still illegal, but at least, you know, I don't think she was, like, peddling drugs. Still got them sometimes. I mean, it's not like they were illegal, so it wasn't much of a problem. Takara-san found them, but really not anything strange.
そんなものに手を出していたら抜けるまで監禁部屋ですよ。
Confinement room? Is that your own personal confinement room? Like at the mansion? Yeah, like I said, this is why I didn't want to get involved with Saki. Saki is a bag of trouble.
ああ、あの部屋ですか。
She knows about the room. I'm assuming. Did she mean the storage room in the hostel house that we have been told as kids never to go near? Is that why the old houses were scary? As I briefly escaped reality with thoughts of that storage room, Saki stood up and walked towards me.
来てよかったみたいね。兄さん。
No. It was not a good thing. It was a terrible thing. I would prefer Maya over this. Saki glared at me right from below with a frighteningly angry-looking smile. Saki had her hands behind her and pressed her body against mine. She was soft and smelled good, but I didn't have the presence of mind to enjoy it. But you know, a lot of stuff has happened
明日か
recently.
ら様子を見に来たのよ。ね、高原さん。
ええ、そうですね。お嬢様も泊まりに来ていたようですし。
Still smiling, Takahara-san looked over
お
at
嬢
me.
様は何もなかったって言ってましたけど、基本的に内藤君の味方ですから、自分の目で確認しないと気が済まなくて。
That's not something to say while smiling. Doesn't that mean you don't trust
本
me?
当になかったら泊まりになんて行かせるわけないでしょ。なくすとしたらこれからです。
Hey, that's not fair to me, okay? I need a little help sleeping sometimes. It's not a bad thing. You won't need to. Don't worry. I'm clean and sober.
それはこれから調べますから。口ではいくらでも言えますからね。
Oh no, somehow Takahara-san's gaze was even scarier than usual. That's gotta be pretty scary then. Hey Saki, did you say something to Takahara-san? I asked Saki in a low voice. She had moved away from me, but she was still giving me a frustrated look.
さあ、兄さんと同じベッドで寝たことくらいしか言ってないけど。
Hey yo. From the bottom of my heart, I wanted to run away, but if I did that, it'd be like admitting to a sin I never committed. Feeling something of an aura from Takahara-san, which seemed even more powerful than usual, I prayed that my innocence would be proven soon.
と言っても家探しをするわけじゃないです。いつも通り。そう。いつも通りのお片付けの手伝いですよ。
Oh no. We don't have those magazines that every, you know, main protagonist has, do we? Takahara-san flashed me a brilliant smile. Sure, we'll call it that. I smiled back, but I probably had a terrified-looking smile. There's actually no real need to worry. Takahara-san didn't search the apartment in any crazy, upending the world kind of way. One of the reasons my apartment was so clean was because of the occasional inspection she called cleaning. For Takahara-san, she effectively saw herself as my guardian, so she made a point to ensure that I was developing into a decently responsible adult. Aside from her obsessive sisterly feelings towards Saki, which went beyond just being her chaperone, I didn't actually consider Takahara-san as a very reliable adult.
この本はどこに置けばいいんですか?
Oh, I need that for the diagram I'm drawing, so don't put it away, please. Didn't particularly bother me if she checked to see if there's anything suspicious as she picked things up.
そもそも兄さんは悪いことをしようと思えば夢の中で事足りるものね。
I don't know about that one. I mean, yes, but no, okay? Also, this is an invasion of privacy. But I've never experienced it, then all I can do is imagine what it would be like in my dreams. See, now, being a father, I would never do this to my child. I'm never gonna go rifling through their things. Even if maybe they're doing something like I would rather they not do. Like, if they're doing meth or something, yeah, I'm gonna stop that, okay? Because meth is, like, extremely dangerous. If you're doing, like, a dangerous drug, whatever. You're doing, like, marijuana, who cares? It's still bad. I'm not advocating for that for children, but I would say that's a lot better than some other harder drugs. If they have, like, a magazine or something, which nobody has nowadays, like, everyone uses, like, the phone, the computer, or whatever. Still, like, maybe not the best thing, but I'm not gonna, like, go rifling through their stuff to find that. I'm just gonna hope that I taught them well enough by that point, and I think I'm a big advocate for, like, teach them early, because if you teach them, if you're the one that tells them all that information, then they don't start going to other people for it. I mean, they probably do, but at least you'll give them a baseline. I think if you let them go to other people first, then they're going to learn a different way than you want them to, and you don't control it as well. Personally, myself and others that I know ended up going online and finding out a lot of things about the world. And when you do that, you get more curious, whereas, you know, if you as the parent just kind of explain it to them first. So that's kind of my response. And I also think that, like, abstinence is great. Like, don't get me wrong, abstinence is the most fail-safe way of preventing problems, but there's nothing wrong with teaching a little bit of education on, like, hey, if you're going to do something, here's what you should do. I think I take that approach to, like, I don't assume that somebody's just not going to do anything if I teach them not to. That would be foolish. So that's kind of my little parenting style. You guys have heard it here. I don't know why I'm explaining this. What experience all I can do is imagine what it'd be like in my dreams. Moreover, I didn't have any real hobbies other than building things, so I could never get into cooking. I think part of the reason I was barely able to keep Takahara-san's trust was because I wasn't interested in any bad things either. You're not interested in any bad things? I've seen what you've done with the other girls, okay? Not interested in bad things? I mean, not to say that those are bad things. They were probably very nice, but I've seen what he's done with some of the other girls, okay?
見ての通り、お片付けを手伝ってるんじゃないの。
She was lying. Unlike Takahara-san, she was really searching the apartment. Absolutely, I know she is, because Saki will kill me if she finds anything. For a while now, she had been examining my things carefully. She wasn't messing anything up, so that was good, but Takahara-san probably wasn't comfortable letting Saki involve herself with something as banal as cleaning, but she wasn't inclined to let Saki do what she wanted. Well, there weren't many things I would care if anyone saw, or that anyone would care that I even owned.
ところで兄さん、これは一体どう
We're
いう
screwed.
ことかしら。
It's all over. Because I thought that I noticed Saki looking at me with a strange aura around her. What? Gah, what are you holding?
お嬢様、何かありましたか?
Oh no! Did you see how fast she was there? As soon as Saki said something, did you find something? Saki was holding what we best called up. I told you every protagonist has one of these, and I don't understand. Like, are these really common in Japan? Are they that common, or is this just like a total stereotype? And I put them in that drawer specifically so Saki wouldn't spot
なん
them.
でこういうの持ってるの？トールちゃんはそんなの持ってないと思ってたのに。
He's a man. He has needs. She was so disturbed that she forgot to call me Nissan. What are you basing that belief on?
だって夢で片付けてると思って。
Don't open and look at it. Saki seemed to be confused after having found a container filled with porno mags and
お
DVDs.
嬢様、あんまりそういったものに触ってはいけません。汚れますよ。
Takara-san gently took the magazine from Saki and put it back in his drawer. I mean, would it be better if he had pictures of someone he actually knew? Like, I don't understand. I saw the tainted part coming from a mile away, but I thought Takara-san would give me a look like I was an insect, but she didn't. Huh? Is that okay? You're not gonna scold me?
あのね、内藤くんくらいの年頃だったら持っていたって普通でしょ。興味のある年頃でしょうし。
I mean, I think any guy who says they haven't, like, at least looked at that before is lying. Totally lying. Takara-san said it was, like, common sense. Really, as long as Saki was involved, she was actually pretty understanding.
むしろそういうもので存分に発散して、お嬢様に接するときは常に枯れていてほしいくらいです。
Hey, yo? What? I don't like the way she said that. And you guys could probably tell what part of that sentence I have a problem with. I'm not gonna mention it. Thanks, I think?
大丈夫ですよ。そんなことしなくても。
Gosh, I'm out of water already.
変なことはされていませんから。まだ。
Yet? What do you mean yet? Why do you assume that I'm gonna do something? Why is there a yet here?
まだ
Exactly, why is there a yet? Takara-san, who had been standing right next to me, had me up in the air by my collar in an instant? Saki, you don't even need to add that. Takara-san, have I ever done anything weird to Saki?
ないから今こうして満足に生きていられるんですよ。わかっていますよね。
Hey, to be fair, I tried to go down some other routes first, but you know, this is kind of like a necessary thing. I think I can do the other routes without actually doing Saki's, which I really like. I like that you can kind of pick which route you want to do, and I can do them in any order. From my understanding, it doesn't seem like I have to do certain routes before the others, but I could be wrong on that.
本当にその辺の他の女でも手段問わず捕まえてとっとと満足してしまえばいいの。
Hey, to be fair, he's done that. What do you mean by any means?
最初は無理やりでもいいんですよ。当然お嬢様以外限定ですけど。
That's horrible.
兄さん、無理やりとか、そういう趣味なの？
They're so mean. Like, this dude has literally been so kind. Like, these girls put him in situations where they're, like, practically begging him to do something. And they're like, oh, you're taking advantage of me. How could you do that? Or, like, you know, you shouldn't do that. I'm like, what do you mean? You guys put him into these provocative situations where you, like, want him to be doing things. And then you get mad at him for being a guy and, like, maybe thinking about it. But he usually doesn't end up doing it anyways. It's usually some weird situation where we're stuck in a dream and, you know, we have to do it to get out. It's all a trap. I was looking back and forth between me and the mags while blushing. I don't want to say that. Of course not. What kind of opinion do you have of me? Saki said she was obviously trying to hide her embarrassment by showing how calm she was before she returned to cleaning my apartment. As she hesitated about what to do with the magazines next to her, Takara-san sighed from beside me.
しかしどうしてこんなことになったのか。これなら内藤君はうちのビルに住まわせない方が良かったような。
Probably. It was all a trap. I think so too. I didn't think I'd end up having some little privacy or living by myself when I graduated from the annex building because my parents' house was being renovated. And Saki declared she was going to hang out regularly in my apartment. I politely declined, of course, but she didn't care. No matter how much I didn't seem to like it, Saki would probably keep coming as long as I didn't end up hating her.
そういった意味では内藤君の方が分別を守ってると言えるんでしょうか。
I believe I've kept them from the beginning. But since Saki was defenseless and innocent, and I was quite aware that I was treated quite poorly. The only reason Takara-san hadn't killed me was because I kept my wits and didn't embrace the fact that Saki was coming over. After a few little incidents, I ended up renting this apartment. No matter what, Saki was going to hang out at my apartment, so rather than that sort of place a student of my means could afford, they felt more at ease if I lived in an apartment building they owned. As a result, I lost my privacy.
お嬢様に関わらないプライベートに立ち入る気はありませんから安心していいですよ。
Well, unfortunately, she's always involved. Problem was that my privacy was almost entirely occupied by Saki. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Hey Saki, you're wearing a skirt, so be careful. Saki's skirt had gotten caught up something as she crawled around my apartment. I could almost...
兄さん、見えた？
Why did you say anything? It's all a trap. I saw them. I questioned the wisdom of red and black at her age, but I wasn't stupid enough to say it out loud.
いい度胸ですね。
I know.
内藤君。
He pretty much just admitted to looking at them. I sensed Takara-san standing up. All I did was warn her. What on earth should I have done? If only this was a dream, but the sky was too clear and bright. It was like the world was trying to tell me that this was the reality I was living. Crap. Getting entangled.
いつだったか気楽に生きていたいって言ったじゃない。ほんと不器用よね。できないことをしたいだなんて。
I wish these were slower. It's really hard to read them that fast.
気楽に過ごすなんて本当に口ばっかり。気楽に生きるための努力で神経すり減らしてたんじゃたまったもんじゃないわ。それのどこが気楽な生き方よ。だけどそうしなければならない。誰に言われたわけでもなく、自分がそうしているのが楽だから。ええ、そうね。わかってる。ねえ、私たちってもしかして似てるのかしら。それとも全然似てないのかしら。
You guys actually are a little bit alike. Okay, so we can skip.
強がって私とさよならしようとして、そしたら変な夢を見るようになっちゃうようなお兄ちゃんがとっても好きよ。
She wasn't wrong. My lucid dreams weren't the result of me having stopped dreaming about Maya. I had lucid dreams because that was the only way I could stop myself from dreaming about Maya. Until that happened, far from being able to tell when a dream was a dream, I couldn't even tell when reality was reality. Who? Who are you really? I couldn't say those words. Whether she admitted it or denied it, I wouldn't know how to react to her
答え
response.
てあげてもいいけど、教えてあげないわ。
Maya giggles, seemingly pleased with
だって
herself.
教えてあげない方がずっと困らせられるんですもの。ああ、そう、その顔かわいいわ、ほんと。
I do have a nice face, thank you for noticing. Gradually, the surroundings went
だ
dark.
からたくさん困ってね。
I don't know how important it is that I kind of read some of these. Like, I've noticed in each route there's been, like, these Maya parts. And I don't know how relevant they are always to the story. I'm like, should I be reading these really closely? Maya called me something at the end, but I was unable to make it out as the dream came to an end. And they're just kind of thrown in here, and I'm like... I don't know, would it be better if I, like, started with this route and then read that? I woke up early. I woke up as an ordinary everyday life. Okay, we're skipping that. Couldn't hold back, or I have to resist. I believe I have to resist. Because, yeah, we're just gonna go and skip that. I was interested in Saki. That's what we're gonna say. Just then I suddenly thought of Saki, the girl closest to me who was always at my side. When asked if I was interested in anyone, her face was the first I
い
remembered.
るみたいね。それも私の予想通りの相手かしら。
Probably. I mean, Saki is a natural choice for Toru, right? Could be. I answered bluntly, but Maya smiled, seeming unable to contain how much fun she was having.
だけどそれなら安心だわ。変に意地を張ってそのまま何もなかったら困るものね。
Wasn't living so that Maya could feel relieved. I almost said that, but I suddenly wondered if that was true.
そのつもりなら何の問題もないわ。ええ、本当に。これならもしかしたらうまくいくかもしれないもの。
Yeah, you think so? What do you mean? Things were going the way Maya wanted. The thought of what if made me anxious.
大丈夫よ。知らなくてもいいことだし、それにそのうちわかることだもの。
I think that's Maya's whole character. She's like, yeah, you'll find out. If I'll understand eventually, then why don't you just tell me?
いやよ。そんなこともわからない相手に教えてあげる必要はないの。
Giggling, Maya tapped the floor for Joe. Gradually, the world peeled away, and Maya melted away like she always did. Hey, Maya?
それじゃあまたね。元気でいてね。そうでないと困るから。
Even her voice melted away. Can I skip? No, I can't. Okay. We're gonna have some more Saki time. Fell into the scenery, which was flipping like pages of the book. For a moment, I saw a bright blue world. Why did they keep mentioning this bright blue sky world thing? Ah. Okay. Hearing the sound of the doors closing behind me, I fell to my knees on the floor and sat there.
兄さん
Don't mind me. I'm just frustrated over this blue sky they keep mentioning. My legs were shaking and I couldn't stand very well. I felt like a traveler having collapsed after going through the desert. Through sheer willpower, I managed to sit up without having to use my hands to prop myself. Having ended the long, long dream and returned here, I saw that Saki and Klepres were visiting the room. They were surprised at seeing me come in after them and almost collapsed.
ちょっとどうしたの？何があったの？
Just frustration from not understanding what this blue sky is they're talking about. Saki put down the cup of black tea she'd been holding and stood up in a panic. Couldn't stay crouching here. Though when I put all my energy into my legs and tried to stand up, the doors behind me creaked open.
私もうダメ。
Alice came in through the doors and collapsed. I looked back, but it was too late. Alice was just as worn out as me. Oh shit, what was that? I just like accidentally clicked through some dialogue. I had no energy, so when she fell on me, I collapsed even further. Oh, Alice just like fell. I had no will to get up anymore, so I put my arms around Alice on the floor. Next thing I knew, Klepres and Saki were taking care of us, and I somehow made it to the sofa. Like always, my back was leaning against the armrest. Alice laid with her head resting on my legs and her own legs on the other armrest. Neither of us had the strength to move, so we just laid there limply.
さきちゃん、お兄ちゃんが他の女に膝枕してるけど、いいの？弥生先輩は私が死人に鞭を打つような女だと思ってるんですか？
Yes. Alice was lying there where Saki normally sat. Saki looked down at us as she stood beside us. So wait, I'm trying to understand here. So, did something happen in between here? Am I right to think that? He saw this bright blue world. So something happened right here. He saw the bright blue world. He went through an experience. He doesn't remember it because we're not at that point yet. This is a completely different experience. And then the doors closed. He like pretty much entered back into here. And he was collapsed. He was collapsing because something major happened with him and Alice. Okay.
それで兄さん、何があったの？
You can probably already guess, but we got caught up in an awful dream. I returned to this room right after meeting Maya. Alice was there all of a sudden. Okay, was that something that happened before? Like something we skipped over? Am I understand? Okay. Maybe we already saw that, or maybe it was, trying to think, or maybe it was something that we're not supposed to see yet. I don't know. Is there something she's actually normal? Then we started talking about this dream, this curious dream where other people kept getting involved. Decided to go search for the source, and we thought maybe we'd encounter the culprit behind it.
そこまでなるなんてどんな夢見たのよ。
海を越えて山を越えて。
So we haven't seen that. I don't remember seeing that at least. Our ship sank in the ocean, our plane crashed in the mountains, our spaceship made an emergency landing in the desert. We were unable to reach our destination. Each of our adventures would have been enough to fill a movie. To be honest, if Alice and I weren't so good at altering dreams to our convenience, we probably still would have been wandering around that dream.
なんでそんな夢を見てたのよ。
Are we gonna be able to see that dream analysis route? We set out after talking about going to search for the source of this dream.
それで何か収穫はあったのかしら？
I hung my head at that question. Alice was awake too, but she looked away from Club Press without saying anything.
本当に二人とも何してるんですか？あら、もしかしてさきちゃん、やっぱり焼いてるの？
Quite confused. For some reason, Saki glared at me in response to Club Press's quip.
焼いてるとかじゃなくて、どうして兄さんはアリスさんとばかりそういう無茶をするんですか？
You know, Alex is a complex character. I think there's a lot more to her than we're seeing. I'm very curious to go down her route. I want to know, because I feel like we don't really know too much about Alice.
だってそれはアリスが一番頼れるからじゃないの？変なことに巻き込まれても大抵のことなら自力で何とかできるし。
I don't quite know how that works, but yeah.
いや、俺、二人とも覚えてないの？
Alice slowly sat up, apparently having no intention of lying there forever. She reached out and started preparing her own tea.
覚えてないのって何のこと？
だってこの間、トールとサキちゃんでひどい夢見たってボロボロになって帰ってきたじゃない。
それ、もしかして弥生先輩が来る前に見た後に見た夢のことですか？
Saki's voice grew hostile, though she had the wrong idea. It was a subject she didn't want to touch on. Wait, Saki, that's not it. Alice wasn't talking about that dream. Just the other day, you and I went out alone. But Alice, it looks like Saki doesn't remember that dream.
覚えてないって何かあったの？
Okay, so this is something specific to Saki, because I'm wondering if there's like bits of Alice's route that kind of get sprinkled in here, but like since we aren't at that point, you know, we don't get to like fully remember those. I was a little bit confused, like because I thought we were having like maybe something that was exclusive to Alice's route. I don't know. This is confusing me. Maybe I'm just totally like misinterpreting what's actually happening. Same sort of thing. You said we should find the source so we can figure out what kind of place this was. So I forced the doors open and we went to a different dream. But when we woke up, Saki didn't seem to remember, so I kept silent, thinking there was no reason to go and remind her. I also wonder if the fact that we've done 2 other routes before, if that like changes anything. I don't know.
兄さん、一応聞いておくけど、どんな夢だったの？
It was like we were in a western where we had to catch and sell horses.
まあ、どうして二人がそんなことしてるかはともかくとして、夢としては意外と普通の夢ね。
I mean, I don't normally have dreams about like catching and selling horses, but sure. There was a disease that was spreading around the town we were using as a base. People were turning into zombies and we had to run around in order to survive. Just remembering it made me sigh. Lucky was on guns and I was running away from the horses while carrying Saki. It was an endless sort of dream. After a while, Alice eventually pulled us out. Just like today, I collapsed right as I came for the door.
この間も弥生、同じこと聞いてたよね。
何それ？それって私も覚えてないってこと？
I mean, I would assume if we're kind of having moments where we're talking to Maya and then she kind of erases our memory of them, I do wonder if like everybody else is kind of having moments like that where maybe they're talking to her or maybe they're in a dream and we just don't remember them. Not if we're still sat on the sofa.
どっちも全く覚えがないわ。
Because it's very interesting. They introduced this concept of Toru like having a good memory for his dreams because he's a lucid dreamer, right? So his brain is kind of more active, so he kind of remembers things better. But at the same time, they also introduced the concept of there's actually a lot of dreams he doesn't remember. And I think the girls kind of have the same situation going on where they have lots of dreams, they don't remember them. You didn't seem to, so I didn't say anything. There's no need for her to remember something so painful, and in true dream fashion, it wasn't something that would be useful even if she did remember it.
私も、もしかしてそんなことあった？
I wonder if like the concept of us having dreams that we don't remember is going to be a little more prevalent as we go on. The other day you said the same thing and jumped out with Alice. Both of you were staggering when you got back. The press froze.
全然覚えてないんだけど、私、何か言ってた？
All I heard was something about you two being in an idol unit, but we're rivals and we're having a hard time. It seemed to be embarrassing, to have been embarrassing for Alice too, since she wouldn't tell me the details. When I asked, she grew bashful and angry. Seemingly shocked she couldn't remember, Club Press munched on cookies from the table and prepared some more black tea. She swallowed a mouthful and calmed down.
トールも飲むかしら？
Yeah, thanks. But why are we mentioning this? What's the relevancy? With her acting that way, I couldn't tell whether she remembered or not.
なんで私たちは覚えてないのかしら。
That's how it is with dreams. In fact, I would say Alice and I were strange for being able to remember. But if you remember all your dreams, then you'll just be tired every day.
トールが言うと説得力あるわね。
That's because I'm a living example. Saki looked unconvinced.
どうしたのサキちゃん。トールの言う通り覚えてないならそれでいいと思うんだけど。
Yeah, I think maybe it's fine, but what if we're like forgetting useful information?
だけど、もしかしたらなんですけど、ここに私は本当に来てるのかなと思って。
What do you mean by that?
ごめん。私頭そんな良くないから言ってる意味がわかんないんだけど。
兄さんとアリスさんは夢のことを全部覚えてるじゃないですか。けど私と弥生先輩は全部きちんと覚えてるわけじゃない。
Is she implying that this isn't the real Saki? Like that she's just like a dream Saki? Like a version that we want to remember, but like in reality, she's at home in her bed just like sleeping like normally. But this is just kind of a Saki that appears in our dreams.
それってここにいる私たちが目を覚ましてる時の私たちとはもしかしたら違うことになるのかなって。
Yeah, that's what I thought she was getting at.
じゃあ今ここで目の前にいるサキちゃんは誰なの？
It's Maya. Just kidding.
兄さんの見てる夢とか。
I mean, we do know her pretty well. We could probably make our own version of her.
だとしたらトールってば夢の中でも疑り深いのね。
It's possible, but there's no way to check until we wake up.
起きられればここにいる弥生とサキちゃんが本人だってわかるの？起きた後なのに？
Can I just have them tell me something I don't know and then check it later, like what they ate last night or something? Alice nodded understandingly.
青色で横は紐。フロントサイドにリボンがついてるのよ。
Saki suddenly said something like an
上
incantation.
もそれに合わせてあるけど、こっちは形を言っても兄さんにはわからないわよね。
What are you
明
talking
日
about?
私が着る下着よ。
Gave a laugh, not from me, but from Alice next to me.
サキちゃん、よりによってなんでそこなの？
Saki's just telling us that because she wants us to look. But how exactly are we gonna look? It's just gonna get us into more trouble.
起きたら確認してもらえる？それで違ってたら、きっとここにいる私は本物じゃないから。
What if she just so happens to wear those?
トール、確認するの？
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check because, you know, everything I do, they're making me out to be this pervert by making me do perverted things that I need to do for story reasons. Like, I have to know that because I need to understand if this is the real Saki or not. But this makes me just look like a pervert. Alice gave me a look that said she really wanted to say something. What? Don't look at me like that. As I grew flustered, Saki just drank her tea as if she were saying it would be fine.
なるほどなるほど。じゃあ私も同じようなことを教えておけばいいのかしら。
How am I supposed to check that?
誰も見てない時にチラッと？
Yeah, and then I'll get caught and be like, oh, Toru, I didn't know you were such a pervert. Tell everybody in the school. You're really gonna show me tomorrow?
なんだか私の時と反応が違う気がするんだけど。
I mean, to be fair, we've seen club presses. Lucky narrowed her gaze and glared at me. It wasn't a matter of wanting to see Saki's underwear, club presses underwear, or having more interest in one or the other. Wait, you wouldn't normally show me that. Let's think of some other way to check.
なんかあんなに嫌がられると傷つかない？ええ、その気持ちはすごくよくわかります。
Saki is one thing, but are you really okay with this club res?
サキちゃんのは見ようと思えば見られるみたいな言い方だよね。それ
Oh, he could. If he asked, he could. Blushing slightly, Alice moved to the opposite end of the sofa, putting some distance between us.
兄さんが見たいって言えばいつでも見せてあげるけど。
And I believe that. But that doesn't mean there's not consequences if he were to ask for something like that.
妹の下着姿が見たいって言うと結構問題じゃない？
We're only brother and sister when it's convenient, okay? Or maybe she just sees it as we're living in Alabama. We're like in the Alabama of Japan. Did I say a single thing about that? But if I said I didn't want to see them, both Saki and Clippers would get sulky. And the worst thing was, Saki wasn't technically my sister, so it wasn't like I wasn't interested. Do you see what I'm saying? They literally made up the situation, and then they called me the pervert. Like, really, this is entrapment. I'm going to call the police. I would accept that remark if I were the one who started the conversation down this path, but being unable to understand why this had happened, I heaved a sigh and rested my tired body on the sofa. This is entrapment. That's what I'm going to start calling it. Excuse me. They're literally baiting me into a bad situation. I heard my alarm clock ringing. Can I skip? No, I cannot skip. So we're still getting new dialogue. I mean, that's fine. I'm not saying it badly. I just want to know. Dragged to awareness by the harsh sound, I woke up. It's morning. After that, the conversation had gotten repetitive. As usual, I was greeted this morning without even having talked about any other way I could check. I reached out to stop my alarm clock while I was at it and grabbed the glasses to my bedside. So I slowly put them on. I could feel the cold of the morning air as the frames made contact with my face. Though I managed to sit up, my body felt heavy and I didn't really like moving any further. Just then I heard the sound of the door unlocking. I used to get startled by that, but I'd gotten used to it after almost 2 years. What if one day it's not Saki? Someone's just breaking into our house. We would never know. Just as expected, Saki opened the door and came without permission. Morning, Saki. Please at least ring the doorbell. I woke up around the same time anyway, so I didn't see the problem in ringing it. I had nothing but objections, but not being bothered in the slightest. Saki sat the convenience store bag with breakfast on the table as usual. When she bent over, the hem of her skirt rose, and I could see her thighs clearly. Her underwear. I remembered our conversation and grew curious. Wait, doesn't that make me a terrible brother to be curious about my sister's underwear? Yes, but she's not technically your sister, so it's okay. She brushed up the hair that had fallen in her face when she bent over and looked at me. I grew flustered. I wonder if she noticed I'd been looking at the lines of her legs and hips. I'm just a little tired. I felt puzzled with the way she said this. Technically, yes, but... When I got exhausted in my dreams, no matter how much sleep I got, I didn't feel like moving. The Saki seemed to find it strange I wasn't getting out of bed, so she walked over to me. Did he not get a good look? The Saki? She put her knee on the bed and her hands on my forehead and her own. No, it's just I had a bad dream again. I'll get up. I can get up. I couldn't tell Saki that was trouble because she had told me to check her underwear in a dream. Hey, Saki. For a moment, I thought maybe if I explained the situation, she'd let me lift her skirt up. That thought crossed my mind. My guy, I know what's gonna be bad. You just gotta ask. It looked like Saki didn't remember the dream, so there's no reason to mention it. No, it's nothing. What disturbed me was the most was that I had a feeling that if I asked to see her skirt, Saki would probably let me do it. She would! She would absolutely let her do it. I feel like you could just, explain, like, hey, I wanted to test if the real you told me to look at your... It's gonna sound bad any way you do it. Like, it's not gonna go good. I didn't know what would happen if I actually checked. Saki got down from the bed, unconcerned. Watching her go, I felt like I just let an opportunity pass me by. No, wait, what was I thinking? You really shouldn't come in without permission. Saki turned around and stuck her tongue slightly. Well, now he's just gonna go the whole day thinking about it. I guess this is where he starts getting interested in her as something more than just a sister. Sister character, I want to put it that way. They're not really related. Blue string panties with a ribbon in the middle and matching bra. Because Saki had told me that it was impossible for me not to think it was probably due to the underwear she was wearing right now, but imagining that just made me a silent lech. An indescribable feeling of regret and guilt came over me. Nothing. Saki sometimes looked at me, apparently wondering why I kept looking at her.
いつも通りのつもりなんだけど。
Lucky reached for her head to see if she had any bed hair, though that wasn't the reason I was looking. No, there's nothing strange about you. She was the same as usual. Did that mean she was always wearing that sort of underwear she had said last night? Come to think of it, I had the feeling I'd seen blue underwear on her before. It wasn't that I'd been trying to see it, but I ended up doing so because it had been exposed. Naughty, naughty. I mean...
なに？さっきから変な兄さん。そういう態度取られると余計に気になるんだけど。
He's hiding perverted feelings. Let me continue hiding it.
ダメよ。兄さんが私に隠し事とか許されると思ってるの？
Why not? Hey, wait, I have a perfectly good reason why I can't tell you.
理由。恥ずかしいとかそんなことじゃなくて？
Well, embarrassment was part of it, and I thought that was the reason. A fine reason in its own right, but it's that you know what I am troubled over. You'll understand why I'm worried.
何それ？それってもしかして私も兄さんが気にしてることを私が知ってるってこと？
Well, pretty much. I nodded vaguely. If the Saki that came to the dream was just a character for someone's dream, then there's no way she'd know about it. Saki seemed to realize something.
もしかして夢絡みかしら？
Yes, that's right. Saki gave a nod.
そういえばさっき夢見が悪かったとか言ってたけど、まさか私の夢を見たからとかそんな理由じゃないでしょうね。
You might have been involved in the dream just a little bit. I was tired for a different reason. You'll understand that when you remember too. Saki had tired me out quite a bit too, but I couldn't give her any more hints than I already had. When Saki remembered the dream, I didn't know what she would say to me. If she tried to force me to check it, then I had a feeling that I would just freeze with regret.
なんだか兄さん一人で分かった気になってるのは気に入らないけど。いいわ。思い出せって言うなら思い出してあげるから。そうしたらきっちりその態度のわけも聞かせてもらうわよ。
If possible, I'd rather if you didn't remember it. It didn't have anything to do with mine, and I wanted Saki to forget it forever. Then again, if she hadn't forgotten it, it probably wouldn't have been easy for her to remember again anyways. Yeah, it'd probably be fine.
なんだか余裕ぶってるのも気に入らないわ。
Give me a break. Saki gazed at me like she wanted to say something. My guy, you should have just asked. Why are you beating around the bush? And why am I out of water? Then lunchtime came. My last morning class had dragged on a little, so I arrived at the science preparation room a little late. When I did, I found the atmosphere heavy. Hello, Club Prez. What did you do to Saki?
私は何もしてないわよ。
Yeah, I mean, I believe that. They had apparently been waiting for me because the tiered lunchbox Saki had dropped off hadn't been touched. With the bent-up master sitting before it, Saki looked incredibly sullen as she sipped away at her strawberry milk. The fact that she was making a sucking sound with her straw was proof enough that it was quite a bad mood.
そういうトールこそサキちゃんに何かしたんじゃないの？
No. It's not that he did something, it's what he didn't do. So it's my fault after all. I had said something pretty suggestive this morning, so maybe she was still thinking about that.
やっぱり思い当たる節があるのね。
Well, you could say that. But would that really make her this
大
mad?
丈夫よ。兄さんが悪いわけじゃないから。
Saki put her empty pack down next to her and let out a sigh. Thanks to the Lord of Strawberry Milk, her anger seemed to have subsided a bit. Club President and I breathed a sigh of relief.
それ
The
に
Lord of
兄さ
Strawberry
んが
Milk.
原因ならご飯食べるの待ったりしません。
I see, that's good. Well, not good, but for the time being, Club President and I prepared lunch. As usual, we made coffee by boiling water in the beaker and spread out the tiers of the
そうなんだ。
lunchbox.
私、てっきりトールがサキちゃんに何か隠してるせいかと思ったんだけど。
You're surprisingly perceptive. Lucky gave a slight reaction to those
弥
words.
生先輩は覚えてるんですか？兄さん、夢で何かあったらしいんですけど、教えてくれないんです。そう、なんだったかしら。私もちゃんとは覚えてないのよね。
I can never tell if she's being truthful or not. The Prez looked at me and giggled. Whether she remembered or not, she was really awful. Did you say that was unrelated? So what did happen? If there was anything I could do, I would have done it. Even if I couldn't, I might have been able to help her before the situation escalated further. I asked about the source of Saki's bad mood the way a brother would to his little
今
sister.
朝、兄さんと別れた後、机の中にこんなものが入ってたのよ。
Saki pulled out an envelope out of her bag on the table and set it down. It didn't look like something for school, nor did it look like something passed between girls. What's that? I pretty much knew what it was, but I asked
も
anyways.
しかしなくてもラブレターかしら。ええ、そうです。
Saki let out another bored-sounding sigh. Clepress looked at me, her eyes wide with curiosity, like that of a cat. At least she deserved credit for letting out a teasing cackle.
お兄ちゃんどうする？気になるの？ねえ気になるの？
Let her rain on your parade, but this isn't something new. Clepress had a picture-perfect look of disappointment on her face.
そうね。こういうのもらったのなんて初めてじゃないし。
There was one time she received one when I was
そ
there.
の猛者はどこの誰よ。
Seemed to think that I was really her brother.
好きな相手のこともよく知らないのね。情報不足だわ。
He didn't do his homework.
ええ、そう言って追い返しました。
I thought it was a bit strange for her to say it herself. At the time, Saki had said we were siblings, but we acted more like we were boyfriend and girlfriend. It's because of incidents like this that weird rumors circulated around us, both in the main and annex buildings. Still in a bad mood, Saki put some food into her
今
mouth.
までにあったことならどうしてそんなに機嫌悪いの？読んでみればわかります。
She pushed the envelope, or rather the stationery, towards
そ
us.
ういうの私たちが勝手に見てもいいの？いいんじゃないですか。兄さんには少なからず関係のあることですし。
A lot of it has to do with Nissan. I was doubtful whether it was really okay, but since it had to do with me, I opened the letter inside the stationery. Despite her misgivings, Clepress moved her face closer, coffee in hand. Dear Saki Hasano-sama. Cringe? That letter, which began very normally, was honestly kind of pathetic. Well, how should I put it?
まじまともな文章を書けているからこそ痛々しいわね。
We finished reading, and with a feeling I couldn't quite describe, I returned the letter to the envelope. It wasn't that there was anything wrong grammatically, or that he needed to study Japanese more. In fact, for a letter was terribly neat and tidy, I wasn't sure I'd be able to write as well of a letter even if I was told to. Its contents were, how should I say, it's pretty pretentious. I wasn't good at reading and writing, and though it was written in a way that I wouldn't notice it at a glance, the whole thing was pompous enough that you couldn't help but notice, even I noticed.
私から見るとそんな気づかないレベルどころかえげつないほどいやらしい手紙だったんだけど。
Really nasty letter, but Clepress gave me a concerned look. As we've been reading, Saki had been working on the contents of her lunch. I was pretty hungry too, so I started digging in. What's wrong,
い
Clepress?
や、その程度で済ますんだと思って。あの手紙結構トールな悪口書いてあったでしょ？
He was bad-mouthing me, but it was all true, wasn't it? It would be one thing if it was unfounded slander, but it was true that I'd stuck to my sister, and I was a borderline invalid who caused problems for the people around me. So I didn't think it would make sense for me to get mad about it.
兄さんがこういう態度になるのも頭にくるわね。
If the people around us were gonna get angry, then it is what it is.
さきちゃんがここまで不機嫌なのもなんかわかるわ。
Clepress looked at me and Saki were like we were hopeless siblings before starting to dig into the bento as well.
兄さんをバカにするのも許せないけど、それ以上にそうやって人より上に見せたがるそのやり方が気に食わないのよ。相性としては最悪みたいね。
Never seen a guy who seemed so compatible with Saki as she is now. When I said that, the two of them shot me an annoyed look. You don't have to look at me like that. I've known Saki for a long time, so of course I'd be able to get along with her.
兄さんのことは今は置いておくとして。それでさきちゃん、どうするの？本来なら無視するんですけど、これじゃそれも生ぬるいかしら。
At a glance, Saki looked almost like that of a sheltered maiden. The sight of her twirling her hair made for quite a pretty picture. That was only if you didn't know what she was thinking, though. I didn't think you would, but don't overdo it, okay?
するなとは言わないのね。
Why do I have to be so considerate towards someone who wrote a letter that made me angry? It wasn't like I was pissed off, but this wasn't the sort of person you need to be considerate towards. If Saki felt like taking action, then who was I to get in her way? Just then, I saw Saki looking at the tips of her chopsticks still extended towards her mouth. What bad manners.
そうだ、兄さんを連れて行こうかしら。
I don't want to go.
連れて行ってどうするの？どうすればこのプライド高そうな相手の鼻をへし折れると思いますか？
Don't talk to Cutpress about that. She might really inflict some new trauma onto him.
どうなんだと思ってるのよ。失礼ね。そこまでするほどの相手じゃないでしょ？
She didn't say that she couldn't do it. I shivered at that attitude. Anyways, I'm not going, and if you're going to refuse, then cut them down
分
cleanly.
かってるわよ。逆恨みとかされると面倒だし。
Saki sighed. I trusted that she wouldn't do anything unnecessary.
逆恨みされた場合、その矛先が向かうのはトールだものね。
Please don't say that. It conjures up bad memories. Seriously, I'd experienced something similar once before. After school, classes ended, I visited the science club before returning to my apartment. When I did, something strange happened. When I inserted the key and turned it, I didn't feel any resistance. That was strange. I was sure I had locked it when I left. Huh. Normally one would think there had been a robber or something. I was pretty sure it wasn't, so I opened the door without much concern. I'm
お
home.
かえりなさい、兄さん。
Sure enough, Saki was in my apartment. Normally she would have been sitting on the sofa, but today she was lying on the bed for some reason. She probably took care of things with the guy that gave her that letter. Something happened?
別に。いつも通りすっぱり切り捨ててきただけよ。
Though that's what she said, she still seemed grumpy as she lounged around on my bed with a portable game console in hand. I could hear that jaunty music of a puzzle game coming from the console. Even as I took off my coat, Saki didn't move from where she laid. If you want to talk about it, I'll listen.
まあ、面白い話ではなかったけど、兄さんにみっともなく愚痴るほどのことでもなかったわ。
I see. I thought that maybe she was down because something had happened when she went to turn the guy down. I thought that was the reason she came to my apartment.
この後もしつこいようだったらまだ考えるけど、もう関係もない相手だし。
Yeah, like Saki would ever like give the time of day to any guy that's not a Toru. Well, if you're saying that, then that's fine. Doesn't mean she was confident enough that she was able to say he had nothing to do with her. But if she was even slightly worried about something, she would probably say so. Saki, why are you on my bed? Although she had a key, it was rare for her to come in when I wasn't there. When she did, it was always because she wanted to complain or she was thinking of something unpleasant.
それが何か兄さんとすることがあったはずなんだけど、全然思い出せなくて。
Oh, so she does kind of like vaguely remember. Lucky looked at me from where she was on the bed. I gave an involuntary start and wondered if she
ね
noticed.
え、兄さん、私と夢で一体どんな話をしたの？
I told you I'm not gonna say anything until you remember yourself. I want to get a change of clothes. Saki saw me pass by and changed the direction she was facing without getting up from lying on her stomach. She followed me with her eyes as I moved around like a dog or a cat that was lying down.
ねえ、兄さんが隠してるのって大事なことじゃないの？
For the time being, it's not that important. It wasn't about Myas, it was just a dream. You waited because you were worried about that. When I took my clothes off a hanger and looked at Saki, I saw them. Because she'd been rolling around the bed, her skirt had gotten pulled up and her butt was almost completely exposed. Blue, thin as a string on the sides. I couldn't see if there was a ribbon on the front. It seemed like there wasn't much fabric to them. Because of that, even though she was slender, I was able to see her butt quite well. Her underwear seemed to be of fairly good quality, and the material was thin and stuck to her body, so I could see the shape quite clearly. Saki didn't appear to notice, and she gave me a strange look when I immediately turned away. She must have realized from how I was acting, because from the edge of my vision I saw the corners of her mouth raise into a smile. She looked just like a cat who had spotted its prey.
どうしたの、兄さん？なんでこっちを見てくれないの？
Oh no. I seem to remember there being some black tea left. I knew perfectly well that wasn't a natural response, but I ignored Saki and headed for the
何を
kitchen.
恥ずかしがってるのよ。別に兄さんになら見られてもいいのに。
What are you talking about, Saki? I didn't see anything. No, she knew I had seen them. It was my fault for getting embarrassed and looking away. So I had no choice but to pretend I hadn't seen anything before Saki Saki said something else. Rather, I couldn't think of anything else to do. For now, I decided to really boil some water so I could drink something to calm myself down. Just then,
さっきの角度だとリボンがついてたかどうかは見えなかったんじゃないの？
ooh, she does remember. The kettle slipped from my hand and fell into the kitchen sink. Oh, what? When I turned around, Saki was right behind me and looked at me with a very, very nice smile on her face. I'll go ahead and show you that to you guys real quick because it's not showing too much. This is an appropriate level that I can show. I tried to back away, but my back was already pressing against the kitchen.
確か夢の中で 今日着る予定の下着を兄さんに教えたと思うんだけど、きちんと覚えてるかしら。
She's gonna show the whole thing. Am I gonna have to censor this? Saki pinched the hem of her skirt and lifted up a little at a time. If her hands went a little higher, I would end up seeing the other side. Saki, do you understand what you're doing right now?
同じ夢を見ているかどうかの確認よね。
Okay, I remember. Don't worry. There's the... There, that's enough. That's it. I took Saki's hand from her skirt, forcing her to drop it.
やだ、兄さんってば強引なんだから。
He's only forceful when he needs to be. Who was it that who was it that was trying to use an even more forceful method? I was completely confused. There's a sense of longing, a feeling of panic, a tinge of excitement for having seen something that felt wrong to see. Though she knew what I was thinking, Saki peered at me
そ
joyfully.
んなこと許すの、兄さんだけなのよ。
I believe that. Don't worry. You don't have to let me see so easily either. Let go of my hands and her expression stayed the same, but she seemed annoyed.
そんなに見たくないの？
No, well, it's not that I don't want to. It's wait, what are you doing? Why couldn't I lie and say I didn't want to see? But for some reason, Saki was undoing her buttons.
見たいならいいじゃない。上もお揃いって言ったでしょ？
Yeah, I can see that. Yep, that's not it. Okay, you know what I mean.
二人っきりだものね。何があっても邪魔も入らないし。
Oh, I know.
妹の下着姿に兄さんってば興奮するんだ。私どうなっちゃうのかしら。
See, she says this, and then he would go to act upon it and be like, "Oh, you're a pervert," you know, when you were literally just saying, I don't know, you were implying that he should do something. It's not the point, no. Fine, let's say
兄
that
さん
it
の
is.
エッチ。
I told you. She calls him a pervert after she's literally unbuttoning her clothes. What are you still doing unbuttoning while you say that? Apparently teasing me was too much fun because she didn't stop. For shame. And so I was able to confirm that she had a matching bra, even the part there being ribbons on the front was the same. There were even strings on either side, and it looked like it would fall off if one of them came undone. I'm gonna have to censor this, aren't I? If she's gonna keep going. I was on my knees next to my bed with my upper body sprawled out on
ほ
it.
んと、この程度で大げさなんだから。
She said in annoyance as she sat on the bed and fixed her disheveled clothes. I swear I hardly touched her. All I did was grab her hands, trying to stop her. Even now, Saki's feet were in front of me, and if she opened her legs a little wider, I'd probably be able to see inside her skirt. Well, I did see it a little earlier. What is it with you intentionally showing me your underwear? It wasn't an appropriate thing for an adolescent girl to
結
do.
局見せるんだから抵抗しないで見ちゃえばよかったじゃない。なんでそんなに嫌がるのよ。
I told you before, I'm a guy too. We were alone in my apartment with no one to disturb us. I wasn't of such a noble mind that I could say that my steadfast resolve definitely wouldn't have wavered.
男ってそういう意味で？
Still slumped over, I gave a slight nod. I was afraid to look up. Saki patted me on the head.
ふん、そっか。そうなんだ。
So please stop casually doing stuff like this. I'm
ど
serious.
うしようかしら。
When I looked up cautiously, I was relieved that Saki was now wearing all of her clothes. I was worried about what would happen if she got carried away and stripped down to nothing while I wasn't
だ
stopping
けど
her.
私は覚えてなくてもやっぱり兄さんと同じ夢を見てるのね。
Ah, yeah, looks that way. It had been turmoil for me, but at least we figured that out so it hadn't been for nothing. I'd been wondering if it could have been true, but even if she didn't remember it, we were having the same dreams. It seemed to be a good thing that we knew that now, however. Well, now you understand why I was tired this morning, right? Saki had seen Alice and I had been hardly able to move from the sofa, or so I
ほ
thought.
んと、下着の話したくらいであんなに疲れてるだなんてしょうがないんだから。
Eh?
え、何よ。違うって言うの？
Didn't I collapse with Alice? Saki's expression darkened from the rather composed look she had had until now.
アリスさんと疲れるまで一体何をしてたの？
Don't worry about it. I told you in the dream, do you remember the part about the underwear?
何よ。一体何があったの？そもそもどうして夢の中で下着の話になんてなったのよ。
Exactly, that was all your fault. In the end, whether we had the same dream or not, it didn't look like I'd been able to escape outrageousness like this. I know, what a complicated woman. Like, polar opposites.
別に私のことなんて誰も知らない。だから私がどんな歌を歌おうがらしいと。
Am I okay to skip these? Just because, I don't know. We're gonna skip the selection. We're gonna go, key to my apartment. Reach for the familiar looking stainless steel key. I'm gonna save it here. I think we're gonna call it because I think that was a good amount of time. So I'm gonna end it here. Kind of an interesting start to getting into Saki's route. I'm liking it so far. I don't know what exactly the content of her route will be. I mean, this is kind of the lead up to that. But I think it's interesting just because he is so close to Saki, and I think it's interesting from the perspective of Saki being kind of involved with Maya. I think him and Maya and then Saki, we're all kind of a trio, right? So I think it's going to be kind of interesting getting a look into her side of things. And maybe we'll get to discover a little bit more about what happened. Just because with Keiko and Yayoi, they kind of were introduced a little bit later after things had already happened, whereas Saki's been kind of with us since the beginning. So I'm looking forward to seeing kind of how we get to learn a little bit more about what happened through her perspective and things like that. I'm hoping that's kind of what they'll cover, but I don't know. They might take it in a different direction. Either way, I'm kind of looking forward to diving into that. I think that'll be good, and we're gonna end it here. I'll start diving into more of Saki's route soon. I'm just kind of finishing up Clockwork Leyline, which hopefully will be soon as well. I didn't really have time to dedicate hours to that right now. With it being so late, I wanted to start diving into Saki's route a little bit. But I am going to start finishing Hapymaher once I'm done with that, and I'm really looking forward to it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little bit of a taste of Saki's route, and I'll be playing more soon. So I'll see you guys in the next episode.